On Friday, June 7th, One Championship is back with its most stacked card of the year. The Iron Man Rodtang returns to face Dennis Pirich in a flyweight kickboxing firefight. Mikey Musumeci looks to avenge his last defeat against Gabriel Sosa. Submission grappling world champion Cade Rutolo makes his highly anticipated MMA debut. And in the main event, Tawan Chai and Smokin' Joe Nadawat square off in a rematch for the One Featherweight Muay Thai World Championship. One 167 on Prime Video.
And now, Brandon Thick Boy Schaub.
Well, hello there, friends. It is 8:45 a.m. How are we doing? How was your weekend? Great. Can't hear you. Case, how was the weekend?
Great. 10 out of 10. Played golf. Had the homies over. Watched the fights.
Had the homie over, watch the fights, Chin?
Yeah, I watched the fights at Dave & Buster's in Northridge.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Dude, yeah. It was too loud.
Buster's in Northridge. How was that?
It's just too loud. And I want to hear the commentators and stuff, but it's so loud inside. So
that's on you, bro.
I know.
It's like
it was free. Usually they charge you a cover charge.
Really?
Yeah, like $20, but it's free.
That's what you signed up for, though. It's like getting mad. You go to a football game. I can't believe they're playing football, you know? You go to Dave & Buster's
That's
or
a little different, but yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings. You're like, it's too loud in here. They're like, hey, bro, this is what we do. You came, you know? Yeah, I watched the fight. Had friends, family over. Had the mother-in-law, father-in-law over. My dad's in town. Stepmom's in town. Packed house. Couple friends over. And they were bored to tears. If you're not into fighting, yeah, even for, I don't miss anything. I started watching at freaking 3:30 on ESPN Plus. It was tough, but UFC 302 should be. But that main event, though, it's always how it goes. Like the whole card can suck, and if that main event's good, you're kind of okay. But this card was tough, man. It was tough. Kevin Holland, had the most exciting thing happen on the card for the most part. But tough. 302. That main event, though, I know. That main event, though, that's what it should be called. 302, that main event, though. And the main event was Islam and Dustin Poirier. I was rooting hardcore for Dustin Poirier like the rest of America. And, it's fighting. This is how this isn't scripted. It's not, it's as real as it gets, as they say. Obviously, the Cinderella story of Dustin Poirier is so much fun, and that's why we love the sport. We love Dustin. He's such a good person, and so is Islam. But we just know this kind of last hurrah for Dustin. But at the end of the day, it's sports. It's legit as it gets, and this isn't a Disney version of a UFC fairy tale. Because if it was, Dustin would be probably trans and a different ethnicity. And it'd go all woke, but they didn't do that. This is as real as it gets, and Islam did what he had to do. I do find it interesting. There's a couple of takeaways from this main event. I find it interesting, when Islam did get that Darce choke. Have you ever seen Dagestani's or Russians celebrate that hardcore? Like, even when Khabib beat Conor, they didn't rush the octagon and jump over and hug him and tackle him, and they're all picking him up. Like, this was a big deal for them. This was a super big deal. I think a few factors went into Islam. So I thought it was interesting how relieved they were that he won, got the finish. That I was like, oh my God, like, for Russians or Dagestanis to show happiness is wild. And they were just over the top happy that he won that fight, which I thought was cool. I also thought one of the key takeaways was how good Islam's striking is now. God, dog. Like, he went toe-to-toe with Dustin Poirier, who's the best boxer at 55, and stood his ground and outstruck him. There was, you might give one round to Dustin, but for the most part, if you would have told me Dustin would stuff the majority of Islam's takedowns and this would be a fight on the feet, I'd be like, oh, Dustin's going to win this thing. But Islam's striking has come a long way, and he's damn good. He's damn good. So my takeaway was, I think the reason we got this performance from Dustin and Islam, I think it was Dustin's last hurrah, and he went all out, like, no stone unturned for this camp dialed in. So we got a great Dustin Poirier. I think Islam did overlook Dustin. I think his entire team overlooked Dustin because of the Khabib result. He kind of just owned him. Dustin's takedown defense, he was working with, I think, was it Gamrot or Sarukian? I think Sarukian. So, so he was working his takedown defense, which has always been the Achilles heel for Dustin. He's taken down, choked out, right, in title fights. Kind of happened here too, but still, he did a much better job. His takedown defense got a lot better. So I think Dustin was dialed in. I think Islam overlooked Dustin. I think if you looked at the post-fight kind of interviews, Islam came out and said he was dealing with staph. Remember, if you were reading all the headlines going in this fight, in the pre-workouts, the press conferences, people were worried about a few guys, Paulo Costa, Islam having staph. Islam did confirm that he did have staph. So when you do have staph, you have to take antibiotics. I don't care if it's a week out, 2 weeks out. Those antibiotics strip your freaking cardio like you wouldn't believe. So I think Islam was kind of at the mercy of those antibiotics. So we didn't get a 100% Islam. We got 100% Dustin Poirier, and you get a great fight. And it was such Dustin Poirier's stock doesn't go down. I think, what I would like to see, I'd like to see him retire. I prefer that. Can he fight and compete with those guys? Absolutely. I think he's done everything to his point. He's like, fight another guy? I think title shots are out the window now. So what's he really doing it for? I think his legacy's kind of cemented. He's a Hall of Famer, bona fide Hall of Famer, first round ballot. So I don't know really what he's doing it for. Maybe the right fight could get him out of retirement, but I think he's leaning towards retirement. A Conor fight could get him out of bed, and take him away from his daughter and his wife. Maybe could do Max Holloway for the BMF title, at 55, since he did have that win over him, when Max didn't really do things right. Max is at a different level now at 55. Outside that, I don't see a lot going on. I know some people are like, well, Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier, it's 1-1. I don't want to see that. You're talking about a fight where he's going to take a lot of damage either way, even if he wins. But I think he's done. I think that's the best thing for a fighter, when they can go, no, I'm good. Financially, I'm good. Done it all. I'm good. Oh, but here's whoever, Gamrot. Here's this guy. Here's Justin Gaethje. I'm good.
So Volkanovski actually said on his YouTube channel that he would want to, if Dustin's down, he would want to go up and fight him.
I don't know what that does for Dustin Poirier's resume. I mean, yeah, Alex, one of the greatest of all time, but he's not champ anymore. Mm-hmm. He lost to Pierre, got knocked out, lost to Makhachev twice. I don't really know what it does for Dustin or Volkanovski. So for Dustin, he's kind of, he's in that same kind of category that a lot of guys get in. Conor, they're very few. You're talking about rare air here. You're looking at Conor, the Nate Diaz's of the world, where they can just jump in and they can jump the queue and get these big fights. Even though it's not for a title, they're still getting paid like it's a title fight. Dustin's there now, and it's very hard to get there. So I can see kind of the incentive to do it. But again, I don't know his financials. I assume he's good. It sounds like he's good.
He's good, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like he's good. So if you're a Dustin fan, that's what you want. We all want to see him fight again. Can he do it? Absolutely. But I think we want to see him walk away with his, brain and body intact and go be a dad, because it is the most selfish sport you can do with anything, whether it's stand-up, fighting, basketball, soccer, all that stuff. It's a one-man army, and it demands everything to get to the top. And unfortunately, your family plays second fiddle to all that. So he's done it. He's done it. And this is a great success story. So if you're a Dustin fan, you should probably want him to walk away. I know him versus Max would be sick. Him versus Conor would be sick. Do we have to have it? No. That's my thing for Dustin. Do you have to have it? Title shot's not happening. That's out the window. Now, if it was a title shot, okay, well, that's a little different. You've never achieved that. You're right there. You're on the cusp of it, but you're not beating Makhachev. You're not going down to 45 at your age. Probably not going up to 70. So 55 title shots out the window. What are we doing? For Islam, yeah, you're dealing with staff. You're dealing with a 100% Dustin Poirier. It was a tough fight for him. Tough fight for him. I thought he won all the rounds but one. The judge, there's that wild judge who, had Strickland 45-50 for Paulo Costa. Had Dustin Poirier. He had it even going into the 5th round. Here's the thing with that. There's no other theories here. There's only 2 reasons why that judge was so off. A, he's involved with the mob. There, you're talking about Jersey. There's some shady stuff going on there. He had money on the fight, or some guys had his families tied up at his house, and they're going to kill him if they don't win the fight. So there's that. Pretty extreme. Pretty extreme. Yeah. These are the only 2 examples. There's that, or he's just he's a terrible judge either way, or he just couldn't read the card and was scoring it how we were all scoring it and just got confused. So he thought, oh, here's Strickland, Costa, and had it for Strickland, but just got confused. That's the only thing that makes sense here. I'm going to say it's an ignorance thing, and he reading's not his forte, and he just doesn't know how to read the card and messed up. That's the only thing that was allowed me to sleep that night. That, or he's involved with the mob. That's it. I would love to hear any other theory. There's no way he can sit here and go, no, I thought Paulo Costa won the fight 50-40. Come on. There's no way. That's not real, right? That's not real. There's no way. That's not the world we live in. There's no way. He was compromised. The mob's in his pocket. Okay, I can deal with that. They have his family tied up. I get it, dude. I get it. You want to save your family. Or he was just like, what? Yeah, it's Strickland. Yeah, I know, but you wrote down, you messed up. You wrote down Paulo Costa. He's like, oh, shit, my bad. All good, dude. I'll take that. But come out and say something, right? Come out and say something. Either way, you didn't help the mob, and your family's either dead and you're, at the bottom of the Jersey River, or you're dumb. You're dumb, you can't read, and just got the scoring backwards, or the mob's involved. There's no other excuse. I don't even want to hear it. Either mob's involved or you stupid. There's nothing else. I know it sounds extreme, but there's nothing else. There's no other explanation. That's it. You moron. That's all good, dude. I make horrible mistakes, dude. I get it. Just own it, though. Come out on Twitter and be like, dude, I see all the backlash. I just got confused, man. I haven't done it a lot. Whatever you want to do, yeah, come out and say something. Unless the mob has your family, then just stay quiet, dude, and go about your business. That's the only excuse there. There's only 2. There's nothing else. I don't want to hear anything else. I don't want to hear anything else. He's just off. So back to Islam and Dustin Poirier. For Islam, again, we got to keep it a sport. We got to keep it a sport. It annoyed me. You have Arman Tsarukyan sitting cage side. He's the number 1 contender. He's ranked number 1. Remember, for those of you that don't know, he fought Islam Makhachev on a 2-week notice and gave him his toughest fight in the UFC. If we look back at that fight, Islam striking has gotten a lot better since then. A lot better. But overall, if you look at who's gotten better from that day, you're going to say Islam. I'm sorry, you're going to say Tsarukyan.
Oh, Tsarukyan.
Tsarukyan has improved more than Islam since the last time they fought. Tsarukyan is by far his toughest matchup. But I'm I'm a fan of Islam. I think he's an absolute savage. Absolute savage. He's a monster. But you have to defend the title at 55. And there's a guy named Arman Tsarukyan who's your worst matchup, especially after you struggle to take Dustin Poirier down. You have to beat him before you even consider jumping to 70. The fact that he didn't even acknowledge that is alarming. We should all be worried. The fact that he's like, I'd love to go to 70 and fight Leon Edwards. Well, but why? Who gives a fuck? What are you doing? Now, this is part of the butterfly effect of the Conor McGregor jumping weight classes and the way UFC markets things. He goes, I'm just looking for the biggest payday. Arman's not a household name. Toughest matchup, not household name. Oh, I match up better with Leon Edwards. I'll go up a weight class. I'm sick of cutting weight. Cool. Fuck you. Dude, I don't mean to say fuck you. Dude, you have to fight Arman Tsarukyan. You have to. That's your toughest matchup. By far. and you beat him. Now we have an argument. Now we have an argument for you to jump up to 70. There's not a whole lot left for you at 55. The notion that it's the deepest weight class, I don't subscribe to that. He's beat, if you beat Armin, now you can jump to 70. All right, I'll entertain that, but you got to fight. You got to fight Armin, right? And the fact you didn't even allude to that is fucking mind-blowing. Again, maybe it's a language barrier issue. I'm just going to chalk it up as that because it's the only thing that helps me sleep at night. It's a language barrier thing. No. When he said he was gonna jump and fight Leon, he got Leon and Armin confused. He's gonna stay at 55, right? You're staying at fucking 55, and it's a language barrier issue, right? Right. Armin's your toughest matchup. Let's take a little break, kids. Talking about UFC 302 because, man, we are close to crowning an NBA champ. You got the Celtics. You got Dallas. I'm honestly probably rooting for Dallas here. And with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter over at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. If you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500. Just deposit at least $5. You get a bonus bet back equal to your first bet if it doesn't hit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the code SCHAUB, SCHAUB show. That's code SCHAUB show for new customers to get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500 if your first bet doesn't hit. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. One no-sweat bet per new customer. Issued as one bonus bet based on amount of initial losing bet. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/bball for eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Not to mention, if you watch the post-fight press conference, Dana goes, anybody who says John Jones isn't the pound-for-pound greatest of all time, I think he says the effing idiot. I like the language there. I like the vocabulary. I talk the same way. That's why me and Dana get along. But here's the whole conversation about pound for pound and GOAT. They're two different things. Pound for pound is currently in the UFC right now. GOAT is all time. They're two different things. This isn't even a conversation as far as GOAT. John Jones' body of work, you're talking apples and fucking potatoes. It's not, as far as strength of schedule, longevity, it's not even remotely close. They're not even in the same realm. Islam and John Jones aren't even on the same level. John Jones is by far the stronger case for GOAT. Not even close. Not even remotely close. Pound for pound's a different thing. Also, pound for pound is all subjective. What's your definition of pound for pound, Chin? How do you score pound for pound? If they gave you a vote, how would you score pound for pound? What's your pound for pound?
To me, pound for pound means, like, let's say Demetrius Johnson was the same height and size as John Jones, and same, John has his skill sets, DJ has his skill sets. That's what,
You think the only thing that separates them is size? Like if Mighty Mouse was John Jones' size, Mighty Mouse beat the shit out of him.
That kind of, that's how I,
That's fair. That's how you score it. Yeah. I can fucks with that case.
Yes, similar. It's just any variables that one guy has that the other guy doesn't neutralize. So it's like just based on your skill within your weight class, how dominant are you against your contemporaries in that same weight class?
And if John was like the same size as DJ too, like how would you, score that match?
Yeah, again, it's all subjective. It's a weird thing to.
That's why it's dumb.
It's weird to get upset. Now, go if you want to have that conversation. I will wreck your fucking world. I will wreck your pound for pound. It's all subjective. Even GOAT's a little subjective because it's also time periods. Because you can be the best, for 4 years
in the 90s versus
in the 90s, or you can be the best, even 10 years ago or 5 years ago compared to now. It's just a different game. Like the level of competition that Royce Gracie fought compared to the level of competition Kamaru Usman fought completely. You can't even compare the two.
Yep.
even you can't even compare the level of competition GSP fought to the level of competition Kamaru and Leon fought, because the game's so new, it evolves. So it's just a matter of when you decide to fight or when your career was going on. So you're talking about better competition. It's not a knock on GSP. That was the only options he had, and he beat all those guys. Same with Khabib. It's just a different game compared to what Islam's fighting now. Islam has fought a tougher schedule than even Khabib. But the knock on Islam is, again, if you're going to call yourself he's not my pound for pound number one. I'll be very clear. So pound for pound number one is it's tough. It's tough to even comprehend, because you're the pound for pound number one. If we're talking about pound for pound, if I lock all the champs in a room, who walks out? I'll answer it, Chin. Don't even think about it. John Jones. He snaps everybody's neck. Everybody's neck. So he would walk out because of his size and skill set. So if we're talking about just who walks out of a room, if they're all in there, John walks out smiling and probably barely sweating, to be honest. But that's because he's bigger than everybody and has the skills to do it.
Yeah, that means it's not pound for. That's more.
I'm just saying, but if you're talking about who's the baddest pound for pound dude on the planet, it's
you're
John,
saying like
he's gonna snap your neck.
Literally the baddest person on the planet.
It depends how you're gonna your critique of it. Your criteria. Now, when it comes to pound for pound in your division, I look at strength of schedule. I look at who have you beat, how have you beat them. Islam's strength of schedule, when we're talking about, if you look at the pound for pound list, the top 5 has by far the easiest strength of schedule. So it's no different. I always make this reference. For those of you who don't watch college football, let me explain it. That would be like ranking Florida International number 1 over Alabama, LSU, Georgia. But they're beating everybody by 40. I'm like, I know. But they're not beating very good opponents. They're good. They're not fighting, or they're not playing the same competition as a SEC school. So a SEC school, even with one loss, is usually ranked higher than an undefeated team. It's like Notre Dame. I think they're jumping different conferences now, but Notre Dame, before, they were independent. So they weren't playing the big boys every week. And they rank them like 5. But they're undefeated. How are you going to rank a one-loss LSU over Notre Dame, or a one-loss Georgia, or one-loss Alabama? Because every weekend they're playing the best of the best. We prioritize that over just getting wins by 40. So for Islam, he's a bit of like he's a Pac-10. He's like an Oregon. They're undefeated, dude. They're throwing bombs. This is crazy. They're beating the shit out of everybody. I know. But he's not fighting the best of the best. He's fucking good. I don't think he beats Armin. I think Armin Sarukian beats him. Now, if he were to beat Armin, okay, that's pretty damn good. But you look at his strength of schedule, and we went over it last week. His last 4 fights ain't great. Let's just be completely honest. He beat a 45er twice. One, he struggled with him, right? The great Joe Rogan gave it for Volkanovski.
I thought he won. I thought
he won too. Yeah. So he had a controversial win against a 45er, and he didn't cut. No, don't get it twisted. He didn't cut to 45. He made Volkanovski come up to 55. Not even his weight class, never fought there. Mm-hmm. Struggled. Controversial win. Debatable win there. And then Volkanovski takes it on 2 weeks and gets head kick KO'd, and that's all we think about. Okay. Before that, he beat Bobby Green. Again, tough fighter. Amazing fighter. One of my favorites to watch. Not a world champion. Okay, that's not a great win when we're talking about greats. And then he fought a Dustin Poirier, which, remember, before this fight, he fought a number 11 ranked St. Denis, who was ranked number 11. And if he would have lost that, he's done. So you're fighting a past his prime Dustin Poirier. Great fight. Wouldn't say he struggled, but wasn't a walk in the park. Wasn't a walk in the park. So you struggled. You had a straight up fight with Dustin Poirier, not over the hill, but not in his prime Dustin Poirier. You kind of lost a 45er at Volkanovski, and he came up to your weight class. And then you beat him on a 2-week notice. And then before that, I mean, the Charles Oliveira, that's your best argument. That's his best win. And before that, you beat Bobby Green at a catch weight, because short notice, if you remember. Then you beat Dan Hooker. What's your argument for pound GOAT? Pound for pound number one? I would love to fucking hear it. Let me look at the pound for pound list. Again, but it sounds like I'm hating on Islam. I'm not. I think he's fucking fantastic. His striking surprised me so much. He is such a monster. But we don't know. What I do know is what I've seen so far, and you can't list him as the pound for pound number one. So they have John Jones number 2, which is wild.
But it might change tomorrow. They usually update on Tuesdays.
Yeah. See, I would even list Alex Pierre over him. Look at strength of schedule. You've seen how many champions Alex Pierre has beat? Anyone look at that? Oh, and it's in 2 different fucking weight classes. Volkanovski's fighting at 50. I'm sorry. Islam's fighting at 55, and he's not even fighting the best guys. It's a little crazy we list him number 1. Now that's it. Again, it depends how you score it. I get it, but I just don't see how you rank him above John and Alex Pierre. I don't see it. Yeah. And what Volkanovski did in his division, more impressive than what Islam's been doing in his division. What Alex been able to do over grades, over Max Holloway, what? Over Henry Cejudo, what? You fucking kidding me? Think about the guys I just mentioned. Yair Rodriguez is pretty good, right? He beat the shit out of him. Max Holloway, Hall of Famer. You guys all love him, right? BMF. He beat him. 3 times. 3 times. Is that not more impressive than anything Islam's done? What's the argument for Islam being number 1? Who has he beat? Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira, hate to tell you, loses a fucking lot, man. His history, I know recently he's on fire. He won a bunch in a row. Before overall in his career, he's lost a fucking ton, dude. Great submissions, finisher. I get it. That dude's lost a bunch. Must y'all forgot.
Do you think if Islam wasn't Khabib's boy, he would still be pound for pound ranked
Nope.
number 1?
Great point, Casey. Nope. And I also don't think that he ever gets out of the shadow of Khabib. It's impossible. For the casuals, the way they look at Islam, it's impossible for him to get underneath that. They're too closely tied. They also fight in the same division. It's never happening. It's never happening. Let's take another little break, kids, and we'll get right back to the program because this episode of the Schaub Show, breaking down UFC 302, is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service and parts knowledge you'll need for all your maintenance and repairs. I was just there on Friday. I decided to take the grill off of my 2004 Ford Lightning and ordered the stock OEM grill because I had like this old school billet metal grill on there. I just wanted the stock OEM one. I ordered it in black. It came in like a weird primer grayish color. So I went up to O'Reilly, and with their helpful service, they got me the right spray paint, black spray paint to do the job. Couple coats of that with some primer. This thing is looking legit. So shout out to O'Reilly for that. I always go right up there. There's one not too far from my house. They're the best. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in store or online, so you never have to worry if you're in a jam. They usually have it in the back. They have an extensive back area where they have all the parts. If not, they'll tell you when it's going to arrive. You just go pick it up. Super easy. The team at O'Reilly Auto Parts can test your battery for free in or out of your car. If it needs to be replaced, they help you find the right battery. If your check engine light's on, I know some of y'all driving right now and that check engine light's on. O'Reilly Auto Parts is right around the corner. O'Reilly's VeriScan is a free service that provides a detailed, easy-to-read report with solutions from over 650 million vehicle scans verified by the ACE certified master technicians. So don't ignore your check engine light. That usually means something is going on with the car, you need to get it fixed. Ask O'Reilly today, and they'll help you out with that check engine light. Whatever you need, whether you're a car aficionado or you're a rookie, you'll find the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts are super knowledgeable, helpful, and best of all, super friendly. My boy's name's Casey. My boy at O'Reilly helped me get my paint. They've helped me with a ton of parts, some bolts I needed. They're super helpful. So the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop for all things auto do-it-yourself. You can find out what you need in-store or online. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and visit them at O'ReillyAuto.com/Schaub. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Schaub. Let's get back to the program. Go back to Volkanovski for me. Beat Brian Ortega pretty good. Beat a guy named Jose Aldo. He's pretty good, right? He beat him. Chad Mendez, fuck, he was good at 45, right? He beat him. But again, the pound for pound, it's like, what have you done for me lately? But I view it more as like the body of work and if you're still active. Now, if Islam went down to 45 and beat Alex, oh, whoa, that's a big deal. Especially if he did on 2 weeks' notice, cut to 45 and came down and beat Alex. Holy fuck, yeah, there you go. But you made a smaller dude go up to 55? And the first fight, let's be honest, you probably lost. And the second fight, you fought this guy on a 2-week notice, you knocked him out, and we're supposed to list you pound for pound number 1? Come on. As Dana said, you got to be a fucking moron. Something like that. I wouldn't say that, but those are his words, not mine. The reason this is fun, we're having this conversation, but also there's some people who make an argument for Islam. My whole thing is strength of schedule if you've cleared out the entire division. From what I saw on Saturday night, from what I've seen against his Volkanovski fights, he's going to struggle with Arman Tsarukyan. Arman is a nightmare of a matchup for him. Arman's gotten very fucking good too, man. Yeah, Arman has some work to do. And what he did against Dariush was filthy. Charles Oliveira, he beat, Dariush, Charles Oliveira. He's right there as far as strength of schedule with Islam, unless you consider him beating, struggling with a 45er and then KOing a 45er on a 2-week notice. I don't see the argument. I just don't. Not hating on Islam. I'm not saying that. And if Islam were to come out and beat the brakes off Arman, okay, now we can talk. That's a great win. But to even have the discussion of him leaving 55 is insane. You're telling me he's the 55-pound king. You can sit here, both of you Fox can sit here and tell me he's the 55-pound king right now. My question is, who has he beat at 55? Dustin Poirier, an older Dustin Poirier, probably his last fight. Okay, good win. We're all rooting for Dustin. Good win, though. You beat him. Didn't dominate him. You didn't dominate him. Volkanovski head kicked him. He came up to 55, 2-week notice. He flew to fucking the Middle East. Jesus Christ. Before that, though, decision, most people think you lost.
And it's crazy it was a unanimous decision.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
These people are
and by the way, when Volk fought Max the first time, I think most of us thought that Max won that fight too. So it's kind of a weird, like.
But then he sealed the deal. He beat him.
Yeah, just like
Made
Islam.
it very clear.
Just like Islam.
Made it very clear.
Just
Boom,
like Islam
boom,
beat
boom.
Alex afterwards. So it's kind of crazy.
But you're gonna sit here and tell me he's the 55-pound king of the world, and his 2 wins all over Charles Oliveira. Again, love him, savage. He's lost a bunch, man. And an older Dustin Poirier, and that's your king. I'm not bending the knee. He has a lot of work to do, and you want to talk about jumping weight classes, but no, what? You had so much. You had so much work to do. What are we talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, if he wins one more, he beats BJ Penn and Khabib for most title defenses. You want to go over his title defenses? Again, this isn't an Islam issue. He just fights who's in front of him. You know, things happen, you know, and that's why he ended up fighting Volkanovski, ended up fighting Bobby Green and all this other shit. Dustin Poirier supposed to fight Arman. They offered Arman. Arman turned it down. So, all right, Dustin's a good story. So again, it's not his fault. I think Islam's he's so good. But that's your king at 55? I don't know if he beats Arman. Let me see 55. Also argue that 55 is not even in the top 4 strongest divisions of the UFC. They're aging out. Charles older, Justin older, Dustin Poirier older, Chandler older, Dariush older, Max Holloway just got there. Maybe has 1 or 2 left. RDA older, Bobby Green older. The young crop, you have Arman, Gamrot, Fiziev. There you go. It's not that deep. It's full with a lot of tough dinosaurs, legends. But it's not that deep. There's a lot of names, but it's not that deep. There's deeper divisions. 70 is your best division. 70's tasty, 45's tasty, 35's tasty. Yeah, it's interesting. Not my king. Not bend the knee, dude. Refute. Cut my head off. Cut my head off. I'm sure if I was a Dagestani, they'd cut my head off. Not my king. You guys watch House of Dragons?
No.
That blonde little girl's not my king. I ain't doing it. I'm not bending the knee. Cut my head off. Boom. Tongue. Allowed. Off. Again, not hating on Islam. I know you guys are going to run with that. I'm not doing that. I'm not hating on him. There's nothing he can do about it. It's not his fault. He fights whoever's in front of him. But for his management, whoever's telling this, dude, let's jump to 70. Buddy, you have so much work to do at 55. You have a lot to do at 55 before we bend the knee. And Arman's going to give you a motherfucking fight. And I would favor Arman after watching his last 3 or 4 performances. I would favor Arman. And for them not to do a face-off, the fuck are we doing, dude? What are we doing? The hell are you doing? Someone dropped the ball. Let's move on to the co-main event. Strickland, Paulo Costa. They are who we thought they are. All right? As the great Indianapolis Colts coach said, they are who we thought they are. I think that's him. Where's that Dennis Green? Might be Dennis Green.
We are who they think they are?
Yeah, it might be Dennis Green. Playoffs, he lost. They are who we thought they are.
Thought they were.
Thought they were.
Arizona Cardinals, that's Dennis Green. Yep. Dennis Green. Still got it. Who'd I say? Colts, yeah. Arizona, but I knew it was Dennis Green. Fuck yeah. The Colts guys get playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs. Shout out to Dennis Green. Rest in peace. I think he's dead. I'm not sure though. But with Strickland, I find it fascinating because I had people over the house and like, God, this fight's boring. I'm like, Strickland's gonna Strickland. He's not a knockout artist. He's not a finisher. He applies a lot of pressure, a lot of volume, and he melts you. And at a certain level, guys are so he's at a certain level where guys are so tough that he can't melt them. He just exhausts them, but they don't break mentally. So he's at a level we've seen where Strickland will set that pace. He's done it since he was a kid. He sets that pace and he melts dudes that aren't tip of the spear, and he can finish them off. But when you're fighting guys in the top 10, you're not melting them. You're going to exhaust them and start to do work and take over, but you're not breaking anybody in the top 10. They're unbreakable mentally. You can finish them, you can knock them out, you can shut their lights off, you can catch them in a choke and put them to sleep, but you're not going to mentally break anybody in the top 10. So for his fighting style, you're going to get a lot of decisions. I don't mind watching it either. I don't think it's boring. I think it's fascinating that he can avoid these big punches from guys like Paulo Costa. You shouldn't be mad at Sean Strickland. You should be mad at Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa, we know exactly what Strickland's going to do. We know he doesn't have the capabilities. He's not shooting an explosive double leg. He's not going to mix it up, take you down. Saw an Alex Pereira fight. Sean Strickland and Sean Strickland, and it's fucking tough to beat. It's on you to get him out of his comfort zone and get off your back foot and go forward and take some chances. And why not? It's not like he's some crazy power puncher like Alex Pereira that's going to hit you with a left hook and knock you into the fucking next week. Take some chances. But if you're anybody who fights Sean Strickland moving forward, if you think you're going to sit there and outpoint him, you're out of your goddamn mind. It's not happening. You have to take chances. If you don't, this is the result. You're going to lose via decision, 5 rounds, shutout. Why that fight was even 5 rounds, I couldn't tell you. I think it's the only way they were able to get Sean Strickland to take this fight. Because he has such an advantage. His cardio is so good. He was, I'll do it. It has to be 5 rounds. 3 favors him. Little do we know that Paulo Costa is going to show up and be like, I'm just as good a striker. No, you're not. And this is what you get. So you can't be mad at Sean Strickland. I like how some of the people in my space are like, oh, they were booing Sean Strickland. No, they're booing Paulo Costa. Or they're just a casual, like, what the hell? This guy's just going to go forward and get on his back foot and outpoint him? Yeah, that's what he does. He melts dudes. But Sean Strickland's thing, the only way he's going to get a finish is if whoever he's fighting takes chances. You're not going to outscore him. You're not going to outpoint him. You can't sit on the outside. You can't sit on your back foot and circle the cage and try to outmatch him. It's not happening. It's not going to fucking happen. Robert Whittaker knows this. Hamzat knows this. And again, at that level, at that top 10, Strickland was able to break the top 10, get there from melting dudes. He breaks them. The pace is so intense. People get so exhausted, they break mentally. But the top 10, it's impossible to do. So you're going to get a ton of decisions if Sean Strickland wins. The only way you're going to finish in a strong Sean Strickland fight now, the only way is if his opponent takes a chance and Sean Strickland hits him with a shot, perfect timing, or if that opponent lands a big shot on Sean Strickland. That's it. So guys have to go for broke. You have to get it done the first 2 rounds. Paulo Costa, for whatever reason, scared to gas out, too muscular.
He said that too.
For whatever reason, was like, no, I'll just stay on my back foot. No, dude. Because you give Strickland an inch, dude, you're so fucked in that fight. Once he sees you going back in his head, you can see the confidence go, got him. But once Paulo Costa, the few times he did stand his ground, he landed. But you got to be a bad motherfucker to go, I'm going to eat some punches, but I'm sick of going back. Enough's enough. It's the only way you can beat Sean Strickland. That's it. Look at Alex Pereira. What? Do what? Oh, you fancy yourself a striker? Check this left hook out. And I'm world class. I'm not going back. I'm going to hit you with a fucking left hook.
Yeah.
But if you sign up for a Sean Strickland fight, any middleweight out there, if you sign up for a Sean Strickland fight and you think you're going to stay on your back foot and beat him, you're out of your fucking mind. The only reason, Duplessis too, I thought Strickland won the fight, but even that, notice he would go back, and that's why the fight was so close, but he went forward a lot and took chances. And that's why you have a fight. It's literally impossible at middleweight if you're on your back foot against Sean Strickland to win a fucking round. I know, I'm a moron. I know this. Your coaches know this. It's on you, middleweights. So don't be mad at Sean Strickland. People are like, oh, one reason he in applause is because he's a Trump guy. No, people like him for that, for sure. But anyone who's a Sean Strickland fan, did anybody put $5 on Strickland to finish him? No. We all know Strickland wins his decision. And I don't mind it. I know we live in this day and age of cool head kicks and choking guys out. I think it's interesting to watch Strickland just dismantle these dudes and just keep marching forward and just one arm down, Philly shuffle, and he's fucking doing Philly shell and just avoiding all these shots and just keeps melting them. Fun to watch. If you're upset that fight's on Paulo Costa.
It felt kind of, honestly, to me, even though I'm a huge fan of this, it felt a little boring. And I remember like Sean, like every now and then he would do a blitz, right? He's usually like really good at like, deflecting all that stuff. But then when he did blitzes, he would hurt Costa. He did it twice, right? So
he had knocked him down with that head kick. He was a little off balance, but he did it. Remember at the end there,
very end,
he knocked him down.
Dude, he could. But again, he could finish people.
You have 4 rounds in the bank. The only way Paulo Costa can win this fight is if Sean Strickland gets wild and decides to let his guard down and try to finish him. Then there's an opening for Paulo Costa to counter that and land that big shot because he does have 1-shot knockout power. So if I'm Sean Strickland, I'm like, do something. It's on you, bud.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this all night. This could be 10 rounds and it's going to go no different. He was barely breathing. Paulo Costa didn't even get him out of his comfort zone. Not once.
Yeah.
That one judge was like, fuck yeah, Costa.
That same judge too. Yeah. What the hell, dude?
Fantastic.
But yeah, Costa said after the fight, he's like, before, Costa used to be like this badass that just came out crazy and didn't like save his gas tank and he would win. He says he's going back to that same guy after this fight.
Okay. Okay. If they give you the right matchup, because some guy's going to force you to do that. And again, if you take that chance with Paulo Costa, he's so skilled, he'll knock you out. But you get to a certain level, the Izzies of the world, the Robert Whitakers of the world, the Sean Stricklands of the world, you're never going to beat him. He'll never be champ. You're never going to beat those guys. Below that, though, you want to take a chance, Paulo Costa knock you out. And he's fun to watch. I hope the UFC's not going to cut him or anything like that, He's fun to watch. But those top tier guys, you never beat them. Kevin Holland looked good. Took that fight in short notice, 185. And the rest of the card, Almeida did his thing. Thank God. Got back in the win streak. But outside that main event, though, UFC 302. I know it sucked. That main event, though. And Strickland gonna Strickland. That's UFC 302. Strickland gonna Strict. And that main event, though. That's it. Let's take a break. This episode of the Schaub Show is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance. Insurance is overwhelming sometime, and you don't know what to do. You need some help. Well, let Progressive help you out because they make it super simple with their Name Your Price tool from Progressive. The Name Your Price tool puts you in charge of your auto insurance by working just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance. They'll show you a variety of coverages that fit within your budget, giving you options. All right, that's something you're going to want to do. It's easy to get a quote today. You'll be able to choose the best option for you and fast. It's just one of the many ways you can save with Progressive Insurance. Get a quote today at Progressive.com to try the Name Your Price tool for yourself. Join over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Price coverage match limited by state law. Progressive. What else you got, Chin? The fuck else you got?
Okay, over the weekend as well, there was Deontay Wilder versus this huge Chinese dude, and Deontay got KO'd. 5th round. And it was also kind of controversial. We're not going to show it on screen, but you can see here in the slow motion, Big Bang Zhang lands a right punch on Wilder's left eye, and then Wilder starts to complain to the ref. And then Zhang goes and drops him.
I don't think he was talking to the ref. He looks like he went, dang.
Oh.
Yeah, it looked like it hit so hard he went, dang. And like, completely turn around and boom. Dang.
What?
Yeah,
that could be it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Don't turn your back. First rule of boxing club: don't turn your back on anybody. It doesn't sound like he's complaining. I'm sure he said he was.
During the fight, he was complaining, but obviously he was not there.
I love Deontay Wilder.
He's awesome.
Worked with him a bunch. Absolutely adore Deontay Wilder. Needs to stop because the fight before this against our boy, the New Zealand finest Joseph Parker. You say did ayahuasca, made him realize he just doesn't care. You're like, whoa, what the hell's happening? Like made him friendlier. Like, okay, this isn't good. Shouldn't be fighting. So, and then this loss, but that's 2 in a row. I love Deontay. Hopefully he stops.
He seems like he's super successful as is,
Yeah,
so he should
great
be good.
guy.
Yeah,
The best.
All right, so this is the big news that came out.
Not good, Case.
Yesterday.
We're McGregor fans. Not good. He's going full Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, not ideal.
Meaning,
So the press conference was postponed.
Press conference supposed to be in Dublin today. Dana flew. This is what's wild. Dana flew from Vegas to Dublin. He's there, and on a short notice, canceled all media obligations leading up to his UFC 303 press conference and all other media obligations. Not good. It is not good if you're a Conor McGregor fan, which I am. Not good.
Case is the biggest one.
1A, 1B. It says, update heard from multiple sources. Conor McGregor canceled media obligations he had with UFC broadcast partners yesterday. Take from that what you will. I'll take. I'm very nervous. Still too early to speculate, so I won't. Short notice cancel a press conference is a big deal. Oh, it's the biggest deal. Because you got to realize the UFC, if Dana's there and you cancel on Dana.
Yeah.
Then they go on to say, who is this? MMA Mania goes on to say, without an official explanation, we can only speculate as what transpired behind the scenes. Fans' theories include contract dispute, maybe leg injury, no. Drug testing issues, no. Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe you just got diarrhea.
Boom.
But all media.
All media's
That's what's
You
crazy.
ever had really bad diarrhea?
That's super bad.
Yeah, you're like, man, this can be forever. But
The
in the
worst
last few
diarrhea ever,
days,
yeah.
maybe you just got overzealous and was like, I'm canceled. I have diarrhea. I would assume if I had to bet on it is a money issue, or an ego thing where I don't know. He didn't like something the way they were marketing Chandler, something like that. And Conor's like, I'm out. Because remember, he's also retired and like he's had disputes with the UFC and be like, oh, I retire. And they're like, whoa, hold on. He's like, nope, I'm out. I'm like, all right, let's figure it out. So he owes which is why I love him. There's no middle ground with Conor. It's either all in or all out. So for this, he was just like, oh, I'm out. And like, well, Dana's here. He's like, I don't give a shit. I'm not doing any of it. You know what? I'm going to give him one step further. All those other media obligations we had, I'm out of that too. There could also be he's sick and tired, which this is highly doubtful, but he's also sick and tired of promoting this fight. Because think about this, before this, he was on, and there's MMA media, then there's Hollywood media. When you're doing Roadhouse, and you have to carry the torch with Jake Gyllenhaal for how many months, and you're flying all over promoting a fight, he's probably like, it's good, dude. I'm good. And maybe the UFC's asking him to do all this extra stuff. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not a prelim guy. I'm not doing all that. It's the biggest gate ever. It's over 20 million sales already. It's the biggest gate ever. No, I've already promoted this thing. I know, but you need to fly here. And no, I'm not doing that. And then Dan was like, well, you have to do it. And he went, oh, no, I don't. I'm worth 600 million. I'm just doing this for the fucks of it because I'm bored at home. Oh, no. You got this twisted. I've made it. I don't have to do shit. And I told you guys that I didn't want to do all this, and now you're trying to make me do it. No, hold on. Not only am I out of the press conference, I know you're in Dublin, suck my dick. Dude, I know I'm out of that. I'm out of all of it. And I bet you they bend the knee because it's Conor McGregor. He's the only guy that can do this, and part of me loves it. The only guy in the history of sports that can do this and get away with it. And guess what, y'all? He's still fighting in June. The only guy ever. Anybody else would be voted off the island. By island, I mean voted out of the earth. He's the only guy who can do this. And part of me is like, there's my guy. Part of it's like, there's my guy, but you're still fighting, right? Part of me's like that. Oh, this is wild. Typical Conor. You're still fighting though, right? Because if he doesn't fight, well, now I'm going to be super sad. Still love you though, but be super sad. I don't like it. But again, part of me is like, hell yeah, good for you, bud.
What do you think the odds are of him actually not fighting?
Less than 1%. He's fighting.
Okay, cool. And by the way, how badass was Dublin? Can you imagine this thing? When we went, it was freaking incredible. Can you imagine this kind
Conor
of...
you're talking for the press conference? Wild.
Yeah.
But I also heard a theory, and I think, who knows how real, that their database was hacked. The Ticketmaster for this and for the fights, it's something where the venue was, it was hacked by hackers, and they like compromise over 100 million people's information. They got all the information, and they can't figure it out, and they're worried that something's going to go on. I've also heard that. But what's alarming that kind of negates that is
All the
he was like, "Oh, I'm canceling everything."
yeah. Well,
I think it was a thing where they probably were like, "Hey," they're like, "We promote this thing?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll promote it, but nothing crazy." And they looked at the schedules like, "Hey, I told you guys I'm not going to do this." And then somebody, maybe they're new, maybe some intern, they're like, "Hey, just talk to Connor's people and make sure he does all that stuff." And the intern was like, "No, you're doing it." And Connor's like, "No, I'm not." "Oh, you're new, right? Hey, bud, I'm going to get you fired." Not only am I not doing that, but I'm not doing any of it. Go tell your boss. He's here in Dublin. Don't give a fuck.
alrighty. Hopefully the fight's still on.
It's happening.
Okay, so this is something that happened last week. So remember we talked about this on Fighting the Kid, that Mike Tyson was in an airplane, had an ulcer attack or whatever. So now, since that happened, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul is going to be postponed. They don't have a date even. It's just
and y'all wonder why I never give you my analytic thoughts on this fight. I told you. Something's fishy about this whole thing. Oh, yeah, who's going to win? Can't call it because I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's real and what's not. Oh, did he fall out due to an ulcer? Interesting. I don't know. All of it, I'm just like, none of it surprises me, by the way. That makes sense. Whatever they throw my way, I go, that makes sense. I'm like a duck. Just keep on paddling. Okay. Now Logan Paul's saying he'll step in, though.
Yeah. The tweet was like, Logan Paul said he would step. Oh, hold on. Let me go back to it. This is what his reply.
So Mike Tyson's out. I'll step in. We can sell this once and for all.
And then Jake Paul says,
Mom doesn't want me to kill you, but fuck it. Loser has to change their last name.
You talked to them before, and they said that was like their ultimate plan too, right?
Yeah, I mean, years ago when I had Logan on, he was like, the ultimate plan, this ends with me and my brother fighting. Jake looks so young there. They both look so different.
I know.
Here's a question. Put my tinfoil hat on. Was this the plan all along? Was this the plan all along? You know? Here's another question for you guys. What gets more views? Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul or Jake Paul versus Logan Paul? Now, I'm not saying on YouTube, on Netflix. Because you take Mike Tyson out of that fight, my dad's not watching. My dad's not watching Logan Paul. But a ton of youngsters who vape and are confused about their pronouns are going to tune in. What do I think would get more views overall? Logan Paul versus Jake, because you can get their fan bases, which is bigger than Mike Tyson's. Let's take a little break, kids, because guess what? This is facts. This isn't some weird conspiracy. There's actual product, the world's first alcohol detoxifier that reduces blood alcohol content as low as 30 minutes. Imagine watching UFC 302 with your friends at main events, popping around. You just got through a bunch of decisions. You've been drinking the whole time. Like, God, what am I going to do? Man, I got to wake up early. I'm going to be hungover. Well, now there's safety shot. Not only does it help you get back to normal about 30 minutes and feel good, it gives you a sharper mind and body, liver support, well-being boost, gut support, hydration. When you're drinking, you got to stay hydrated. This is why Safety Shot helps you stay hydrated, maintaining muscle and brain function so you feel your best when you wake up and get stuff done. So whatever you're at, have that one more shot because you can be all right in the morning with Safety Shot. Just go to drinksafetyshot.com. Use the code Brendan. You get 10% off. Drinksafetyshot.com. Promo code is Brendan. You get 10% off. You can pick it up any Bevmo. They're all over the place. Go to drinksafetyshot.com. Promo code Brendan for 10% off. But the question is, how many of those vaping confused teens about the pronouns have Netflix accounts?
Their parents do.
I know, but them little bastards be illegally streaming everything, man. You know, it's like, so I don't know. I know everybody on Netflix, like the grown-ups, the big people that don't vape, those people know Mike Tyson and they're into it and they still think Mike can do it. And he's just as good as he was. They're batshit crazy, but all good. They're going to tune in. So for Netflix, I don't know if like, oh shit, Mike Tyson's out. And they're like, yeah, but Logan Paul's in and he's bigger. But those old heads are like, you think? I think it does better numbers. Don't you think, Case?
Not on Netflix. No, I don't.
Because the fan base?
Yeah.
And they're just going to legally steal it? Or they just watch the highlights on Instagram and TikTok?
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, he goes from fighting a 56-year-old man who had to withdraw from a fight because of an ulcer. He got on an airplane, you know, and he's in a wheelchair in the airport. He's fighting like a guy, you know, his brother, who's uber famous and has some boxing background, and he's younger. You know, it's more of a fight.
The brother thing is the main thing. That's what makes it more exciting, or more like a crazy show,
spectacle.
Right? Yeah, spectacle.
But I think, but here's the thing: does Netflix give a fuck about educating their older Netflix subscribers about Logan Paul? Logan Paul's never been on Netflix.
I don't know if they promote it correct. I mean, honestly, I don't know what the hell to think about this.
Hell
This
yeah,
is
Chin.
weird.
Hell yeah, good.
This is just weird.
Fuck yeah, hot take from Chin. I don't know, dude.
I don't know.
But Casey,
But also, if I'm Netflix, that older crowd that's going to tune in Mike Tyson, we already got them. If we want to add subscribers, which is all they give a fuck about, Logan Paul's going to bring a completely different fan base and much larger fan
there
base
you go. Then
that might
that's-
subscribe.
That makes sense because if you're already subscribed, it's already on. Why would I just watch it? So if it's going to bring more subscribers that are younger, then there you go. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a more competitive fight. I think it was the plan the whole time.
I don't think so. I don't think the bigwigs at Netflix would put up with such tomfoolery.
But they've also, I like where your head's at on this. This is a fun combo. But they're also, they've never done business with a Jake Paul before.
True, but
Like this is what you signed up for.
Yeah.
He's a wild boy, and then you switch. It's the same as like I don't think Dana got to Dublin. Cause you got to know what animal you're dealing with. I don't think Dana got to Dublin and like Connor's not doing it. I bet he was like, well, oh my God, I can't believe it. Part of him went, okay, here we go again. So he's used to it. Jake Paul does a video of Dana clowning him. Dana goes, okay, that's what I'm dealing with. Netflix like, oh, fight game. This seems fun. Whoa, yeah, fight game. Yeah, dude. Do you know what you signed up for? Do you know the fan base and the animals you're dealing with? No, I know. It's 2024 and we're all professionals. Let me just educate you on what you signed up for. Well, there's this guy, Jake Paul, and he was on the Disney Channel. They got massively, massively famous on YouTube. And his older brother, this is in the past, they've moved on, but he took a lot of heat for filming a dead body in a Japanese forest, and it almost got canceled for it. But he's gotten better, and he's a better man for it. He's crushing the WWE. But just so you're aware too, and then there was this whole like kind of crypto thing where people thought he scammed money. There's that. I'm like, oh really? Man, we're so much safer with Tyson. Right. You're familiar. Tyson went to prison for rape too, right? Like you're in the fight game. There's some fucking darkness there. It's different than other sports. It's just different. Welcome to the fight game.
I think if Netflix's plan with this whole event was to get their foot in the door into live sports, live boxing, then you want Tyson. If it's a singular subscriber grab, then the Logan thing makes sense. But I just don't think.
Here's the other thing. You're assuming Jake Paul and Mike Tyson told Netflix their plans.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, Jake Paul and Tyson are boys. They're cool. Jake's first fight was on Tyson's card. They're boys. So I bet, hey, let's get the foot in the door. For whatever reason, halfway into it, shit happens. My brother step in. Don't say anything. Because we still have a deal. We're still going to save the card. Logan's a big name.
And Tyson still gets a cut.
Yeah, Tyson gets all of it.
It's a huge
Maybe they paid him a
conspiracy.
flat
You never
fee
know.
of $20 million or whatever the hell it is. Tyson's like, fuck yeah, I'll shoot some Instagram videos to get in shape for this. It's a deep cut.
Deep conspiracy.
It's such, hold on, let me point it to me. It's such a deep cut. It's such a deep cut that Mike Tyson, the creativity, I'm like, I'm going to board a plane in Florida. It's going to be super hot. And I'm going to pretend I have an ulcer. Jake's like, I don't know if you need to do all that, man. He's like, don't worry. I got this. You know? It's a deep cut. It's a fight game. Netflix isn't used to it. They're like, what in the fuck? Yeah, dude. The fight fans just go, yeah, that's about right. I'm a duck in water. Water off my back. Yeah, fight game. I just shit in the water. Fight game. Keep going. Fight game. Keep going.
Speaking of the fight game, this weekend, one championship, 167, Tawanchai versus Smoking Joe Nadawat 2, June 7th, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then June 8th, Saturday, 7 a.m. ICT. I think that's Singapore time, but here we go.
At Bangkok Arena, heavy on the cock. One featherweight Muay Thai world title. Taiwan Chi versus Smoking Joe. Can't wait for that. Muay Thai rules, the belt's up for grab. Can't wait for that. Our boy Roditang is fighting. Might be the most exciting guy of all time. I'm going to say that. I'm looking most forward to our boy Mikey Musumeci. Mikey Musumeci, for those of you who don't know, only eats pizza and pasta, and he's Shredville. He only eats pizza. And what's interesting about that is he's one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world. And while everyone else is eating steroids and raw meat, he just trains his ass off and consumes pizza. But it has to be high-level quality pizza. So my idea for this show, which is called Grabbing a Slice with Mikey Musumeci, is to take him to a legit place. And I took him to this place. Where would that be located? What would you call that? Studio City?
Yeah.
Studio City. And it's BKT's.
Well, they can watch the actual episode of it.
The episode drops tomorrow. It's me and Mikey grabbing pizza. We made the pizza, and then they brought out their pizza. We ate so much goddamn pizza, it's not even funny. And it's the best pizza in the world. It's so good.
Studio City, right?
Studio City. And I was so worried because my boy owns it. I was worried Mikey wouldn't like it and would critique it, but he loved it.
LBK.
LBK. Dude, it's not BTK pizza. That'd be crazy.
That's
what I would call it.
That's your going to the serial killer stuff, yeah.
LBK pizza in Studio City. It's world class. Mikey loved it, but Mikey's going against Gabriel Souza. It's his last time he lost was to Gabriel Souza, and that leads in to him. And they've announced it in Denver, the super match against Ruotolo, one of the Ruotolo brothers. Mm-hmm. Just so happens, Cade Ruotolo's making his MMA debut against Blake Cooper, who's a bona fide wrestler. So Cade's going to have his hands full, but it is set up for him to choke this dude unconscious. So you got Cade Ruotolo, MMA debut. You got my boy Mikey Musumeci getting redemption against Gabriel Souza. You got Rod Tang, who is a freaking superstar. And then the main event is the one championship featherweight Muay Thai world title. Smoking Joe.
Tawanchai versus Smoking Joe. And also
Tawanchai, Smoking Joe.
This is also really cool to know. Adrian Lee, who's like the youngest of the Lee family. Angela Lee, yeah, Christian Lee. So he's going to be making his MMA debut as well at 18 years old. And that young dude, Johan Kazali.
He's super young, right?
17, he's killing it, man.
They call him the next Rutang. That's a great card. Shout out to one championship.
Yeah.
Going down Bangkok Arena.
Heavy on the cock, right?
Yep. Bangkok ready.
I think that's it, man.
All right, dude. All right, man. That's it, kids. Tune in on Thick Boy channel. The Grabbing a Slice with Mikey Musumeci is tomorrow morning. That will drop. You can watch the whole episode. It's a fun one. We eat a ton of pizza. I was way too full. Other than that, stay living, man. Keep on living. Summer's here. It's June, baby. Let's crank it up. Love you guys. Thanks for watching, subscribing, do all your stuff that people tell you to do on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. Love you guys.